Okay, tumayong lahat para sa ating panalangin. For those who are Catholic, please stand up na cross. Okay, lapit ka ba namin ng Diyos, lapit mo sa kapon ng Ginoo, kami Ginoo na nag-iilig sa sino Ginoo na tapos Ginoo, ay ikaw mag-open ng Ginoo, para sa among mga report Ginoo, or sa among vaccination Ginoo, ikaw mag-open ng Ginoo, biyahe kami Ginoo, mga successful, kining among mga bulhaton Ginoo. Ang tanan Ginoo, akong isali kung pasalamatan niya lang sa mga nag-iilig.
Hey, good morning, class.
Good morning,
Again, good morning, class.
Good morning, ma'am.
So, how are you this morning?
We're
Feeling
fine,
good?
fine.
Okay, so before you sit down, let's have first an energizer. So, are you excited to be energized, class?
Yes, ma'am.
So, I'm requesting the boys here from the front to lead
Watermelon, watermelon, papaya, papaya, banana, 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 fruit salad, fruit salad. Watermelon, watermelon, papaya, papaya, banana, 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 fruit salad, fruit salad.
Hey, guys. Okay, now please arrange your chairs and pick up some pieces of paper. Central Secretary, we have an absent list for today.
No, ma'am.
Okay, so let's proceed to our discussion today.
Good day, everyone. I am Camilo Balbino Cabanao, and I am the first reporter. So, we have, this is our classroom rules. First, raise your right hand if you have question for answer. Do not use your cell phone if you not needed. Then listen to the teacher. Then don't talk with your seatmate. Then enjoy the class. Enjoy the class. So, now, what are the general guidelines in grading essay test class? Anyone? Anyone class? No. Okay, let's proceed. Then, essay class, essay require more time to grade than the other types of traditional tests. Grading essay tests can also be influenced by extraneous factors such as learners, handwriting eligibility, and readers' biases. Scoring essay responses can be made more rigorous by developing a scoring scheme. The following are the general guidelines in scoring essay tests. Then the first is to identify the criteria of rating the essay. The criteria or standards for evaluating the essay should be predetermined. So, some of the criteria that can be used include content, organization, format, grammar, proficiency, development and support, focus on details, etc. It is important and criteria are relevant to the type of performance task given. That is the identify the criteria for rating the essay. Then the second is there are examples of identify the criteria for rating the essay. So first, the idea of essay is that it is clear, related to the prompt and developed. Paraphrase and analysis of reading material supports the overall argument. Then the second is organization of ideas, uses of logical structure, clear paragraphs and appropriate translations. Then the third is the grammar and mechanics effectively communicates meaning. That is the example of the identify the criteria of rating the essay. Do you understand, class?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, let's proceed. Then the second is it is to determine the type of rubric to use. There are two basic types of rubrics: holistic or analytic scoring system. So, holistic rubrics require evaluating the essay and taking into consideration all the criteria. Only a single score given based on the overall judgment of the learners, writing in the composition. Holistic rubric is viewed to be more convenient for the teachers as it requires less area or aspect the teachers. It does not provide specific feedback on what course, topic, content, or criteria that the students are weak at the need to improve on. On the other hand, analytic scoring system requires that the essay is evaluated based on each of the criteria. It provides useful feedback on the learner's strengths and weaknesses for each course content on criterion. So there are examples of determine the type of rubric to use. So rubrics may be also categorized as holistic or analytic. Holistic rubrics, it is described the characteristics of performance to give an overall judgment of the quality of the performance. Then the analytic rubric looks at the individual characteristics of a performance and judges each characteristic separately. That are the third example of determine the type of rubric to use. So the third is, it is the prepare the rubrics. Then in developing rubric, the skills and competencies related to essay writing should first be identified. Then the fourth, it is the evaluate essay anonymously. Cheating essay should be done anonymously. It is important that the reader does not identify those paper he or she is reading.
So I am Jennifer Lububan. I am the one who will continue the discussion of Miss Tabanao. Number 5. For what is English class? This is ensure that the same thinking standards are applied for all learners in the class. The reader should try to avoid any distraction or interruption with evaluating the writing. Means that with evaluating or grading, it is recommended to assess one question at a time rather than jumping between multiple solutions. This approach helps maintain consistency in the thinking and standard applied to all students in the class. By focusing one question at a time, the reader can provide fair and equal evaluation for all learners. It is also advised to minimize distraction or interruption during the evaluation process to maintain concentration and ensure accurate assessment for each item. So number 6. Make use of all biases with evaluating a paper. The rate should not be affected by learners' handwriting, writing style, length of the span, and other factors. He or she should stick to the criteria included in the rubric with evaluating the essay. To make that way, assessing or scoring students' paper, it is important for the reader to be aware of their own personal biases and preference. Biases can arise from various factors, such as handwriting style, or even the length of their span. So, in short, for fair evaluation, the reader should not let these factors influence their judgment. So, instead, the reader should adhere to the specific criteria outlined in the rubric or scoring guidelines provided. The rubric typically includes the specific qualities, skills, or knowledge that should be demonstrated in a well-written response. By sticking to the rubrics, the reader can provide an objective and biased evaluation focusing solely on the content and meeting the predetermined standard rather than being swayed by personal reference or external factors.
So, good afternoon. I am Jemesa Pilotato. I prepare question number 7. Review admission scores at Common for eating the final rating. This is a performance especially to essay that we're usually giving a very possible to speak. kailangan i-check kung positive sila o failing. So number 8, get two or more graders for a state that are high stake, such as those used the admission, placement, or scholarship screening the purposes by the grade will be the average of the already given. So, but this is mga IC dapat wala essay is sa mga pagdating sa mga essay, mga importante talaga sa mga student na mas maalam nila kung may nakakali sila pagdating sa mga essay. So dapat i-check ng mga teacher yan. Number 9, the right comment with text to the learners responses to provide feedback on how well all has performed in the essay test. So, the last is you should write a comment na feedback sa mga student mo na. Sa mga mali nila na mga essay na nagawa nila.
Okay, again, good afternoon to everyone. My name is Mr. Nilumaino, and my topic for this episode is what is the new grading system of the Philippine K-12 program? On April 1, 2003, the Department of Education, through Dictate Order is 2015, announced the implementation of a new grading system for all grade levels in public school from elementary to senior high school. Although private schools are not required to implement the same guidelines, they are encouraged to follow them and permitted to modify them in accordance to their institutions. Philosophy, vision, and mission. So, the grading system is described as a standard and competency-based grading system, where 60 is the minimum grade needed to pass a specific learning area, which is transmitted to 75 with the report card. The lowest mark that can appear on the report card is 60 for quarterly grades and final grades. Grades will be based on the weight raw score of the learner's summative assessment based on. So, muna ang example sa grading system. So, step 1, get total score of each component. So, double written work plus written work plus written work. So, out of 160% is out of 160, ang nakuha is 145. So, sa performance task, out of 120 is nakuha 100. Then sa quarterly assessment is out of 120, out of 50, 940. So, dirita. Dito na sa convert to percent. So dito sa convert to percent. So, written work, muna siya, ang nanawa ko ganyan, out of 160, so 145. So, para makuha din mo ang 90.63% is 145 divide 160. So, 145 divide 160 times 100%. So, sulay ko rin yung sort, diba? Dibugawan siya 90.63%. So, dili na po ito sa 120, sa out of 120 is 900 na ako. So, 100 divide 120 times 100% is equals to 83.33. Then, 40 divide 50 times 100% is 80.
Okay, class, now we proceed to the convert percent weighted score or WS. So, see assigned weights for each component in the next table. So, kaya siya is, yung WW is mo siya ang rating work, which is 30% ang needed kung may equivalent na siya tanan. So, sa kanyang CT is ano siya, performance task. So, 50% ang needed na niya. So, kanyang UA is quarter assessment, so 20%. So, now is, kanyang siya 90.53%, ikuha niya siya doon sa convert sa atong i-print na nilumay yung niya. So, what is that? We times 90.63 times percent of 30 equals 27.19%. So, okay, first, atong ikwenta ang pinili sa rating work. So, 90.63 times 0.3 equals 27.19. So the performance task is 83.33 times 50% equals 45.67. So next is the quarter assessment, 80 times 20% equals 16. So kani siya is i-add mo siya tanan. So this is sa unweighted score for the initial grade. So, kani siya dire, i-add mo siya. So, mo siya ang nakuha. Mo niya nakuha niya dire sa unweighted score to initial grade. So, 27.19 plus 41.67 and plus 16 equals 84. So, mo siya ang nakuha ng grade. So, mo siya ang meaning basis sa K-12 sa ilahang pag-quinta sa grado. So next is transmute initial grade to quarter grade and R2J. So use transmutation table from ticket order is 2015 for 84.86%. Transmuted grade is 90, which is the grade quarter grade.
And now let's proceed the weights for the three components of grade 1 to 10 and senior high school. First is the grade 1 to 10. So, the three components of grade 1 to 10 is written work, performance task, quarterly assessment. So, dito sa language and lipunan and science and ESP, meron na sila nga percent. Kaya ang written work niya is 30%, ang iyang performance task is 50% and yung quarterly assessment 20%. So sa Demon God, mas gina-focus nila ang performance task. Naging 30% nila kay ang aling panlipunan o ang edukasyon sa pagpapakatao. Demon God, makita ang value sa isa ka estudyante. Sa science and math po, dahil po yung grading system, 40% sa written work, performance task, 40%, and sa quarterly assessment, 20%. So sa science and math, iparehan nila ang percent sa science of math, ang written work o ang performance task. Kaya ang science of math, more in solving. So, para makasolve sila, kailangan silang perform. So, iparehan nila ang written work o ang performance task kay para equal ra ang grading system sa duwa. Dito sa MAPE o sa APP o sa TLA, 20% pa ang written work din. Kaya sa MAPE kasi more in perform, kaya more in music, arts, physical education and health, and sa TLA po, dito po lang itong mga healthcare, basta yung mga respective fields na naay ka na more on performing task. Ang ilang quarterly assessment code is 50% lang. So, let's proceed to the weights for the three components for the senior high. So, ang senior high, napay duwa ka, itungan na sa duwa, academic track and technical, livelihood, sports, and arts and design track. So, nasa ito ang component, written works, performance task, and quarterly assessment. This is the written works sa academic track, sa core subject, itong mga core subjects sa academic track, mga ito po na YOS, ABM, 30% yung written work, performance task niya is 50%. And ang quarterly assessment niya is 20% sa core subjects. Katulong sa immersion and research business and simulation exhibit performance, mga na itong STEM, LDM, 40% ang written work and performance task. Sa technical and vocational and livelihood, sports, arts, and design track, hindi siya katungay industrial arts, sports, ICT, o lain-lain nga track. Dre, mas ina-focus nila dre ang performance task. Mga dre ang immersion. Di ba sa grade 12, nakita immersion, lalo-lalo na kung ikaw ay ABL student. Nag-immersion yung ka pagka second sem, dito sa mga example, imong gikuha nga track is electronic product assembly services. So, mag-immersion ka sa mga electronic shop. Kung small naman, mag-immersion ko sa small, tapos sila na yung break sa mga kung sa yung mga performance dito.
So let's proceed to the quarter grade for mapping. In order to get the grade of mapping, you have to compute the 4 areas that belongs to mapping. First, music, second, arts, third, PE, and the fourth is for health. So as you can see in the formula that given below, you have to add the quarter grade of music plus quarter grade of arts plus quarter grade of PE plus quarter grade for health. Then the total of that you have to compute. You have to divide it into 4. Then so after you divide after you add the 4 areas in mapping, then you are going to divide into 4. So 4 is from the 4 areas in mapping. Then the result of that is your quarter grade for mapping. Then let's proceed to the final grade for each learning area. So we have first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, and fourth quarter. So in order to get the final grade, you have to add the first quarter grade, second quarter grade, third quarter grade, and fourth quarter grade. After that, you are going to divide it into 4. And then the result of that is this is your final grade. Then let's proceed to the general average. The general average. So let's proceed to the general average. In order to get the general average, you are going to add the total of final grades of all learning areas. Then after that, you are going to divide it into how many learning areas in that grade level.
So we have here the example of report card. First is our subject area and the quarter, and for final grade. Example here is the Filipino. So para makuha ang final grade sa Filipino is ang first quarter ng grade sa Filipino taman sa fourth quarter plus ng linggo sila tapos i-divide into 4 to get the final grade. Pero nag-Japan siya sa English, Math, Science, Lipunan, and Education. Ben, kani kay dili kay murag kasamawa na lang between 95 to 97. Sa did not meet expectation below to 95 mao na siya ang failed. Okay, so now let's proceed to how should test results be communicated to different stakeholders. Okay, so since grades serve as an important feedback about learners' level of performance or achievement, teachers should communicate the test result to learners, their parents, and other stakeholders. So since ang grades nag-serve siya as an important feedback sa level performance or achievement sa learners, so dapat the teacher should communicate the test results. Dapat ipaibalo niya sa parents and other stakeholders. O kung sa ang estudyante nag-participate sa performance on a test or any performance task. So, kanata, dapat the teacher should communicate the parents and other stakeholders kay tungod ani is makatama sa siya sa learners para ma-improve kami tawag na learning kay aware man sila o asa sila kanang complete pag-build of study. Test results are to serve as a mechanism to inform learners on what, where, and how they should improve in their work in learning as whole, then an effective and efficient reporting system should be in place. Teachers should come up with guidelines and processes on how grades are to be communicated and presented to make them clear, understandable, and relevant to the recipients. Unless the test results are communicated effectively, the purpose of assessment is not likely to be achieved. In the next paragraph of this take and the nature of the test and messages to the learner closing learning explain. This is income for the high functioning of this test. This thing has the closing of the placement, admission, revision, revision, teacher, something as for IQ or statistical explain, which are more likely to be misinterpreted. It is important to inform the students and their parents that these are only one several of assessments of their performance and achievement, and they are not evaluated of the test alone. So we are giving the test to the students, especially to important ones like those for getting into the school or moving up the grades. Most important for the is the teacher that things like intelligence and practical. Make sure that students and the parents are knows about the things just want me to check how well they doing it. So it's not only thing we look at for the test or just it based on the one thing. Second, the meaning of test score should be explained. So why is it important that the meaning of test score should be explained to the participant? It is very important in order to the students to make an informed decisions about their performance. Let's say for example, kanyang nakapunta sa criteria is kanyang originality. Dato 50% tayo, nakuha sila sa YouTube, nakita sa teacher. So, low na sila, low na kayo sa ila, kay kuhan mo na sila originality, was na magalo nga originality ang nakabutang dito sa criteria. And then, if the student just know the meaning of the test score, it is possible na mag-struggle sila o asa sila mag-focus sa ilang performance. Then, finally,